Hey everyone, it's Jack and Sam from Cultaholic.com, and
this is different, isn't it?
Look at all this fancy new setup for the news. So we're going to be doing a two-man news
news every day.
Daily.
Yeah.
So we're going to have all the facts.
It's like GMTV.
It is.
Good Morning America. That's probably a show.
We're going to have all the facts and all the reporting.
Yes.
But at the same time, it opens up a bit of a discussion slant.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time with news, it's displayed as a matter of fact. Here's a rumour, here's that, and I think if we have a little bit of discussion it lets things breathe a bit.
It does.
Yeah.
It gets a more well-rounded approach to the news, and I think that it's been a very good day to decide to start this new show.
Yes,
so,
it has.
It's been quite eventful. Let's take a look at everything that happened. In today's news, there has been a major title change over in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Also, the future of a different New Japan star has been confirmed after quite a few weeks of speculation. And finally, WWE have signed 2 brand new superstars. So let's start off with the big one, I suppose.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
Oh, I've not actually
Who saw this coming?
Well, we should have, really.
Yeah.
Jay White is the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He just beat Hiroshi Tanahashi for the belt.
Are they going to feud till Wrestle Kingdom?
All the way around?
Yeah, because it was supposed to be Tana's last big. That was the story. Anyway, his last big run with the big belt, and then all these rumors, obviously, that Kenny Omega leaving has pushed Jay White into his position.
He's going to be on the
sort of
Omega
makes
role.
sense, but it's just been. It's not even been. It's just over a month.
Well, this all took place at the New Beginning in Osaka, and I actually haven't had a chance to watch the match yet because it took place quite recently.
Yes.
About an hour or two ago.
Yes.
But I've written down some notes. So there was some, both men were working the leg. Tanahashi because he enjoys dragon screws and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Jay White to set up his new finish, the TTO.
Yes.
Tanahashi tap out.
Yeah.
He didn't. Jay White reversed. Jay White got one of those moves reversed into a Styles Clash, which is now just one of Tanahashi's moves apparently. He missed several high fly flows. The Observer report of the match said that after he missed the second high fly flow, you could hear a pin drop as everyone realised that a title change was on the horizon.
Oh God.
White hit Gato with a chair by accident, but finally did manage to beat Tanahashi, catching him off the top and hitting the Blade Runner for a pinfall victory. Wow.
What are they going to do? I mean, I like it because Bullet Club, I think, for my own opinion on it, has been that they've sort of lost their way a bit, and it started to happen when Being the Elite became a big thing. Yes, they were all massive stars, and it loved them all to pieces, but I think Bullet Club in itself should have always been just people, like Westerners coming in to mess up the company. That was sort of all it was originally, and I like that it's sort of getting back on that track.
A little bit.
But I'm sort of lost as to what's going to happen next.
No, well, apparently it was a good match as well.
Yeah.
Again, the Observer report said hell of a match at the start, which is good because it was Tanahashi that Jay White wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom a year ago in that underwhelming match, and everyone was like, is he ready? Well, apparently he is ready now. Just talking of contenders, potential contenders for the title, Okada also won on this show.
Yeah.
He beat Bad Luck Fale.
Do you think it's too quick to hotshot it back to Okada though?
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
The rumours were, of course, that they came out over the weekend, I think, or late last week, that if Omega had stayed, he would have. The plan was, rumours say that he would have dropped the belt back to Okada in Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
Yeah, so he would have beat Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom, which should have happened anyway, and and then he would have lost to Okada in America, which would have been huge.
That would have been big.
But also, and this is an interesting one. Obviously, GOD they've gone back on their good guy thing now.
Yes.
And Tama Tonga went crazy with a kendo stick on this show and shoved a cameraman off the ramp. So it looks like he's getting a bit of a spotlight again.
That's good.
And that's interesting because he is Jay White's stablemate.
My idea for that was going to be that the good guy thing would continue and he would somehow cost him this match. He'd cost Jay White this match.
We're trying to help him.
Trying to be a good guy.
Oh right, yeah.
So he would maybe not let him cheat or something like that, and that would cost him the match. But now that it's just all gone mental. It's gone mental, Jack.
I like it. I like it.
It keeps us guessing. It does. Us on the back foot, and nobody was expecting this. So.
I thought Jay White would win it at some point this year, but not this early, and not in his first match against Tanahashi.
I just hope it's like a big reign of terror.
Yeah.
Just keeps going and keeps going.
Yeah, well, he cut a nice heel promo afterwards and said, "Breathe with the switchblade." Whoa.
That's his catchphrase, isn't it? Yeah.
Dirty knife pervert, as people call him online. Knife pervert, Jay White. Our second piece of news was from the same show, New Beginning in Osaka, but it was big enough and separate enough that I think it deserved its own little section on this show.
Huge, this.
It is big news. Also, I should point out that I just checked my Twitter DMs before, and before I even saw this online, I had a scoop from one of our contacts who was watching the show.
Oh.
It was Chad. Our mate from Japan,
Chad.
Big Bad
Yes.
Chad too bad. Yeah, I was like, oh, you at the show? He was like, no, he was just watching it with Japanese commentary and thought he could give us the inside scoop.
Nice.
He said it was a good show. Yes, so Kota Ibushi came out to cut a promo. He thanked the fans for their concern about his whole like rumoured injuries after the Ospreay match and everything at Wrestle Kingdom. And then he said, very interestingly, and I think he was one of the major players in this whole story of who's going to sign for which company, AEW, WWE, New Japan. He said that he's staying in New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is...
Well, he didn't just say he was staying as well. I'm pretty sure the quote, when I looked at New Japan's Twitter and I did the auto-translate feature, it said something along the line, well, he'd said something along the lines of, I always thought I'd stay here through 2020, 2021,
Wow.
He just labelled off years. So... I mean, it's a huge get for New Japan.
Yes.
If he does stay, and because there's always been a question of his loyalty to the brand, I guess.
Yeah, two things really, I think, for Ibushi. One is he's best mates with Kenny Omega. Yeah. Which made me think he's going to go to All Elite.
But he could go to All Elite at any point.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
And also, the other thing is that he's just a bit of a free spirit, isn't he?
Yeah,
he does what he wants.
What he wants. Yeah.
But now, I guess I think he's way older than he looks. I think he's in his mid to late 30s, maybe.
Right.
Mid 30s, I'm going to say.
I mean, that's nothing in Japan. It's sort of like Mexico. They have much longer careers.
But maybe now that he's sort of entering his prime in Japan, in terms of the age for a Japanese wrestler, maybe now he's thinking, if I just stay in New Japan, I can really nail this down and really get.
Well, I think if you look at the names and the level of the names that left New Japan, there is such a big opening for him to become essentially the face of the entire brand.
Oh yeah, he could be the new Tanahashi.
And I think he'd be foolish not to turn that down. And obviously, if it doesn't work out, then
he can
go anywhere he wants. Kota Ibushi's one of the best wrestlers on earth.
He's amazing. He's also announced his intention to enter the New Japan Cup, which is pretty soon. Last year it was won by Zack Sabre Jr.
Okay.
This year, well, I guess Ibushi's one of the favourites. He's got to be considered one of the favourites.
Yeah.
The winner gets a title match, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. I'm just wondering, just on a brief note as well, who's going to win the G1 this year? It's all gone. Now that Jay White is the champion, I just can't even think of what's going to happen.
Unless Okada wins the G1.
We could do.
Which... I just don't know if people are ready for Okada to come back.
Do you know who's been a little bit
But I remember bumping into a guy on the way out of Tokyo Dome, and he was Japanese, and he was saying how much he hated Tanahashi. So I don't think that there's that much support that's like militant support that people over here see it as for he's the ace of the company, or like Okada's everybody's favourite. It's people, I think his exact quote was, I hate Tanahashi, he's very boring, his matches are all the same. And there were a lot of people just sort of agreeing with him.
Like Cena hate. Yeah. Well, it's still a huge boon for New Japan, a bonus for them to keep Kota Ibushi. Obviously, it's always great to have a semi-finalist from the Cruiserweight Classic on board in your company, so there we go.
But do you think that New Japan are going to bolster their roster with some names from other companies as All Elite takes off?
Maybe, but I don't know. That's quite an interesting question. Yeah. And I've got no idea.
Because I don't know if they're going to be able... Well, because nobody knows sort of the TV deal for AEW. Nobody knows anything like that yet. And there's talks of it being legacy networks and like big money involved. Right. So obviously there's a lot of attraction there. But I'd like to think New Japan's going to try and, lure some American wrestlers away from WWE or some of their own talent back. Or
essentially. Well, especially with Harold at the helm, maybe he's got more of an interest in Western wrestlers. Who knows? So we will move on to our final news piece.
Scott Norton.
And finally, WWE have signed 2 brand shiny new wrestlers to the Performance Center. I'm familiar more so with one of them than the other.
Me too.
Yes.
And he's been rumoured for so long to have been signed.
Yes, it's Jonah Rock and his compatriot Elliot Sexton. Apparently they've tagged together before under a humorous tag team name that I can't quite recall right now, which had the word sex in it somewhere. Rock hard, rock sexy, rock or something. I don't know. Yeah. Not sexy rock. So apparently Elliot Sexton's been living over in Orlando for a while now. Yeah. Because he's with Dakota Kai.
Okay.
I just need to see more of him wrestling because I don't know too much about him. But
yeah, Jonah Rock I like. He's he's got everything. He's got a little ball of charisma. Yeah. He's incredible talent. Yeah. He just moves so well.
I think, and I'm not too familiar with PWG's sort of running storylines, and I know more about like their insane matches that they put on from time to time. But apparently Jonah Rock's one of the few like proper heels in PWG who actually got booed because It's hard to get booed in PWG.
Well, yeah, because everybody's smart.
Yeah, and everybody likes seeing, everyone does flips, and everyone likes seeing incredible wrestlers. But yeah, I think he's pretty. I think he's a pretty interesting one. He's wrestled all over as well. He's been a bit of a journeyman recently. He came over to the UK for a bit, wrestled for Progress. He was doing all sorts.
It's just a testament, really, to Australian wrestling, isn't it?
The scene has been growing a lot recently.
Like the Australia and New Zealand and that entire scene, the islands, everything. Like it's just properly popping off.
Yes.
And, you know, like you got MCW down there.
That's the big one. That's the one I hear most about.
Like everybody talks about MCW.
Yeah, Melbourne City. Right?
Yeah, it's just taken off like big time.
Could it be well, I think it is one of the rumoured locations for a future NXT hub.
100%. I think, like, New Japan has Farley's dojo, which I think is out there somewhere.
Okay.
And I'd imagine with the level of talent coming through, they're going to have to put something there. There's also talks of India, though, as well.
I know there was a few, and I don't know if Triple H actually mentioned Australia when he mentioned a few. He mentioned, like, the Middle East.
Because I think a Europe hub in just a general sort of Central European country.
I'd reckon it's going to be in Berlin, you know, just from the connections with.
But I mean,
WXW.
like it'll all be tied together, I think, and like I think one big European hub, maybe a hub in India,
right?
A hub in probably not Japan, but I could see Australia.
It's been rumoured in Japan. It's been rumoured, and that would really throw a cat amongst pigeons.
Yeah, it would. It'd cause a bit of an uproar, just to say the least. Yeah. But yeah.
No, fair enough. Well, it's been entertaining and interesting
on
today.
Our brand new shiny news.
Indeed. We'll see how Jonah Rock and Elliot Sexton get on. It's often hard to tell how soon they're going to make an appearance after being signed.
Because like it can differ. It can be immediate. It can be throw them out there for a couple of squashes, or it can be wait a very long time. Like if they really want to reinvent and rebuild people, it can take a lot of time for them to appear on TV. But they will be out touring. Usually, they sign everybody and send them out on the road for a few months, and then sort of get it all nailed down.
Fair enough. Kota Ibushi looks like he's staying at New Japan, and of course Jay White is the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Absolutely
crazy.
mental.
We've been Jack and Sam from Cultaholic.com. You can follow us on Twitter at JackTheJobber and at Lester Fine. You can follow us generally at Cultaholic, and if you want to as well, you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Cultaholic, and never forget, of course, if you haven't done so already, to hit subscribe and to join us.